Hi there, I'm Ananya, and in this video I'm going to talk about what it feels like to have a sexual abuse flashback. So stay tuned. Hi guys! So in this video I'm going to tell you all about what it's like to experience a sexual abuse flashback. So this is like not the nicest of subjects to talk about, but it's something that's coming up for me at the moment, so I think it's important to kind of share my experience and hopefully give some people an insight about kind of like just the way it feels basically. So you probably can't tell at the moment, but I've put tons of makeup on since it happened. But I've had a massive cry today. I've been in a really difficult place. And just to give you a bit of background, I had my first ever flashback to being sexually abused as a very young child 2 years ago, and I recorded all of the videos, which is how my YouTube channel started. And then I had a break for like pretty much 2 years. I didn't do it, and I've recently come back to it again. And so after the initial videos, I had a very intense healing journey for quite a long period. And then I gave birth to a baby boy 8.5 months ago. And since then, I haven't really kind of had much of the sexual abuse stuff coming up. You know, I felt very stable in my relationship. Really, that side of things has been fine until yesterday. And the reason I decided to do this as a topic today is because I was thinking about how to just kind of describe to my boyfriend what I was feeling. And basically what happened was the day before yesterday I just started feeling a bit strange in myself, kind of a bit introverted, quite quiet, quite tired. And then yesterday I was just having a cuddle with my boyfriend in the morning, and there was just something about the way his beard kind of like brushed against my face that just like bam, just completely took me back to my dad. And the next thing I knew, it was like my senses were saturated with my dad, and it was horrible. It was like, I say the next thing I knew, it didn't happen that suddenly. I've instantly, like, my dad flashed into my mind when that happened. And then over the next few hours, I just started feeling, firstly, like I wanted to eat tons, which is usually a sign that there's something going on and I'm trying to run away from my feelings. And then I just felt very emotional. I was very tearful, like the slightest thing was making me feel like I was going to cry. And then this feeling of, oh god, even now it's just making me shiver. Basically the way I felt it was like that feeling of his beard was like, it just reminded me so strongly of the feeling of my dad, and it was like he was there in the room with me the whole time for the next few hours, and I could smell him, I could feel his presence, I could almost like sense his touch. And it just absolutely made my skin crawl. Like, oh, it's just the most awful feeling. It really is. And so that was over the next few hours. And then I had a massive cry in the car. We were on the way to a friend's house. And then like last night I was kind of okay. And then today I just felt absolutely exhausted again until probably about an hour and a half ago. I was cuddling with my boyfriend. And he was just joking around about sex, and then the floodgates opened and I started crying my eyes out. And so I was trying to think about the way to describe the actual feeling of it, because we all know that there's a lot of guilt and shame that's around it, and how to describe it to someone who hasn't actually experienced sexual abuse and what that flashback feels like. And they're different, you know. Some people will get a visual flashback, which I've had before. Sometimes it comes up specifically with sex, and sometimes it's just more of a feeling. And this one was a very feeling one for me. And it almost always culminates in having a huge cry and feeling like I've kind of let something go. But I was thinking the closest thing that I've ever experienced to this feeling of a flashback is the feeling of going to a hostel when you're travelling, and you go into a room and it's a really scummy hotel, and then, I don't know if I've had this specifically, but I imagine, I must have done somewhere, otherwise it wouldn't be coming to mind, but I imagine like a really dirty bed with like stains on it, and it smells kind of funky, and the lighting's really dingy, and there's like dust and grime everywhere, and you see a cockroach scuttling along the floor, and then you open the bed and it's got fleas in it, and then having to get into that bed naked and lie in it with it against your skin. That is the feeling for me of what it feels like when I'm having that flashback. Then that's like the skin crawling aspect, which is where the shame and the guilt comes in. And then another aspect of it as well is the fear, like this kind of terror that you're not safe. It's like, I just do not feel safe. I'm not safe. I'm not okay. And it's like anything you can do to protect yourself. So if you imagine being in that scenario and then being tied to the bed so you can't get out of it. And the worst thing about it is it's like it's inside of you. It's in your skin. So whatever you do going about your day, it's with you. It's not like you can just get up and change it or make it go away. It's like it's just there. And it's such a horrible feeling. And then the other aspect of it is the feeling of not feeling safe. Like it's just terrifying. I used to suffer from the most terrifying nightmares as a kid. I really did. And many dreams where I was dying or being tortured and things like that. And so imagine this scenario where you're in this disgusting bed that smells and it's got stains and bugs crawling all over you and all the rest of it. And then there's also somebody in the room standing over you, threatening to kill you with like a knife or something, and you're just strapped to the bed and you can't do anything about it. You can't go anywhere, so you're just like frozen in your body, like ah. I mean, obviously this is just my experience, but that is what people who suffer from sexual abuse have to deal with like day in and day out. And it's just heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking that that's what it feels like, and people have to live with this all the time. And hopefully this will give some kind of insight. Like maybe if you are a victim of sexual abuse yourself and you don't feel able to sort of describe it to people, like maybe if this resonates with you, you can take something from it, or like show the video to somebody, or maybe even share it just to spread awareness that it's a really difficult thing to deal with. And I think when people have been abused in sexual relationships and there's that whole fight or flight thing, like anything can trigger it. Like, oh my god, so I've been with my partner for 2.5 years or whatever it is now, and the brush of his beard against my face set off a whole flashback, and it's never done that before. Like, you just don't know when it's going to come up or how it's going to come up. So you just got to roll with it, basically. And that's what I'm doing now. So today, had the massive cry. My partner was just the most loving, beautiful, supportive soul that he always is, and he just wrapped me up in his arms and looked after me and helped me cry it out. And that's the biggest thing I would say. Just like feel it, release it, let it go. If you can have the courage just to like sit there in the feeling of it, then know that it does lift and it passes by. If you are interested in watching more videos like this, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. If you thought this was useful or got something from it, then please give me a thumbs up. And also I would love to hear what your experiences are, you know, if this resonates with you. Like, let's build a community out of this and kind of try and support each other, you know. So if you've got any comments that you'd like to add, please add it in the box below. And then one final thing that I wanted to add is that in this whole period since my initial videos, I've been working on something that's so dear to my heart. I've been on a really intense healing journey, and I've been working towards building this whole little ebook that I talked about earlier called The 7 Essentials to Healing from Sexual Abuse. And I've really channeled all of my love into it. I just thought, everything that I've been through, what can I do to help people in the best way possible, and really put all of my wisdom and guidance into something that looks beautiful and people want to read and can hopefully just give them some sense of safety and security and a feeling of being understood, because you're not the only one who's been through it. So if you're interested in having a copy of that, then you just need to click in the link, which is down in the bio below, or I'll put a link to it here as well, and enjoy. So my love goes out to you. I'm feeling a bit more perky now. If you'd caught me 2 hours ago, I was just like, oh god. I was crying so much that snot was actually just pouring out of my nose and just like onto my boyfriend. So there you go. Doesn't always look like this. Alright, take care and I'll see you soon. Bye. um 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 um